HISD is wrapping up its search for a superintendent with the final round of interviews with the lone finalist. Now, this has been a months-long process for a district that hasn't had a permanent superintendent since 2018, and they're also facing threats of a state takeover.
And a lot of parents within the state's biggest school district just waiting for some kind of normalcy. Our Jason Miles tracking the board's negotiations. Jason, live now from Greenway Plaza with more. What do you have, Jason?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, HISD trustees are holding these final interviews off-site, away from HISD headquarters here in an office building in Greenway Plaza. They met briefly in this room behind me before heading upstairs. Some of these candidates may not have informed their current districts or employers, so still a bit of secrecy going on. After just 4 minutes,
the board will now adjourn to closed session.
Houston ISD's Board of Trustees went behind closed doors for final interviews with an unknown number of prospective superintendents. 5 months after a majority of the board, seen here on the right, voted against giving interim superintendent Grenita Lathan the permanent job.
I have accepted a new position with Springfield Public Schools in Springfield, Missouri.
She later announced a pending move to Missouri, effective in mid-June.
Good morning. Good morning.
Lathan took the helm of Texas's largest district in 2018 after former superintendent Richard Carranza left for New York City. A faction of former trustees tried to hire someone else before the plan was abandoned. That dysfunction factored into the Texas Education Agency's attempted takeover of the district, which is also based in large measure on persistent underperformance of a number of schools. The outcome is still pending in court.
We hope that the person is coming in with open-minded and not viewing us as adversaries, but as partners.
Jackie Anderson is president of the Houston Federation of Teachers, which represents a majority of educators in the district.
We are in the ring with them in this fight to save our schools from the TEA takeover, to support our students and support our teachers. So we just want to get the work.
Trustees tell me discussing issues facing HISD has been a big part of the search process. And no word on how late trustees may work tonight doing these final interviews, but they do expect to take a final vote and publicly name a lone finalist during a meeting tomorrow morning. Now, keep in mind, there are 2 conservators appointed by the state to oversee portions of HISD. Those folks could step in and halt this process, as they've done in the past at least once before. So far, no indication that that will happen. We'll keep watching and have another update for you coming up at 5. Guys?
Happy to see the light at the end of the tunnel for this. Thanks, Jason.